Hello everyone, this is PK Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're just quickly going to talk about Cobra Kai Season 5 and speculate in what's in store for the latest installment of the long running series. Now there'll probably be spoilers for the previous seasons throughout the show, and you can check out my coverage of all previous 4 seasons within the channel, and I'll leave some links within the description. Now I'm sure you all know by now what Cobra Kai is, but just in case anybody's watching who doesn't know, it's the long running sequel or continuation of the iconic Karate Kid franchise from the 80s. Now that franchise told the original story of teenager Daniel LaRusso being trained by Mr. Miyagi in the ways of karate to take on various bullies and antagonists. Now the series took the iconic characters from the franchise into a modern day setting, showing a dual narrative of Daniel LaRusso alongside his original antagonist Johnny Lawrence, and showing the two in their older years and the various struggles that they go through in their adult life, alongside introducing younger characters who also have their own dilemmas. Now the show started off in YouTube Premium in 2018 with its first 2 seasons, before migrating over to Netflix for Season 3, where it has remained ever since. Now a lot of fans got even excited about the prospect of Season 5 following the recent announcement trailer released by Netflix that the show would actually be moving up in terms of its release date to September the 9th 2022, and this was a change from the normal release date of New Year's Eve. Now if you've followed my channel, you'll know that I've deemed Cobra Kai as the best television series for the last 2 to 3 years. Amongst all of the sequels and reboots and remakes in entertainment today, Cobra Kai has remained the blueprint for continuing a great franchise, paying respect to the original characters, whilst also continuing to take it in a forward direction with newer stories and newer characters as well. Now Season 4 brought back the memorable villain Terry Silver from Karate Kid Part 3, as he returned to join forces with Kreese in running the Cobra Kai dojo. Daniel and Johnny also unified their dojos together in order to contend with Cobra Kai in an all-new All-Valley tournament. We had the cliffhanger moments of when Silver turned on Kreese by setting him up to be arrested by the police, by assaulting Stingray and then getting Stingray to claim that it was Kreese that assaulted him. We saw Miguel leaving to Mexico to find his real dad after feeling detached from Johnny, who had started to rebuild his relationships with his original son, Robbie. Tori had won the tournament in the final against Sam in the female category, and Hawk had managed to defeat Miguel in the men's category to claim the title. And in their final scene, we saw Daniel enlisting the help of his one-time rival Chow Zen from Karate Kid Part 2 in order to team up to take Terry Silver down. So then, the original question of this video is, can Season 5 continue the great run of this show and continue to maintain its position as what I deem it to be as television's best series to date? And when going by the recent trailer, I'm certainly convinced that it can do this, and it got me very excited as to the prospect of where Season 5 will take the story. We had the opening scenes where we saw Silver very much consolidating his position as the leader of Cobra Kai, looking to expand the brand with multiple dojos across the country, just as he intended to do in Karate Kid Part 3. And I also love the confrontation that we saw between Silver and Chow Zen. Silver says to Daniel that you're playing with fire, and then Chow Zen replies that I'm the gasoline. So I'm absolutely looking forward to all of the great dialogue and the intensity between both Chow Zen and Silver. It seems very much that we will be taking a detour out of All Valley and venture into Mexico, where we see Johnny and Robbie searching for Miguel. So this will continue to build back the relationship between both Johnny and Robbie along the way. We had those earlier scenes of where we see them in very much FBI t-shirts when they enter. It looks like a UFC tournament, and Johnny typically getting into fights, so we're going to have lots of fun seeing them on this journey. We then had the later scenes where they do eventually catch up with Miguel, and he initially rejects them because we all know of the rivalry between both Miguel and Robbie. If you remember from Season 2, it was the maneuver by Robbie that caused Miguel to fall down and break his back on the stairs. The two, of course, contested against one another in the first final of the tournament in Season 1, and of course we've had the various back and forth as they've both been involved in relationships with both Sam and Tori. So it will be interesting to see how this dynamic played out. In my previous coverage of this show, I originally stated that I think one of the major reasons why they had the storyline of Miguel going to Mexico was because of the actor Zola Madureira was also filming the Blue Beetle film, which is based on a DC superhero, so I believe they introduced this storyline to give him time to film that project. So it will be interesting to see if we do indeed find out who Miguel's real father is, and we get further scenes of them getting in various fights against some dangerous looking gangsters. So again, that will ramp up a lot of the tension as we explore this narrative. We did also get some clips, some quick shots of Sam and Tori, where we see Tori holding up the trophy. So perhaps this will deal with the narrative of Tori trying to cope with the status of being the All Valley champion, especially when she knows that Silver paid off the referee in the final, where she performed an illegal maneuver against Tori but still was allowed to fight. So how will the conflict between Tori manifest itself even further as we progress through in the storyline? As we all know, really from the past 2 to 3 seasons, Tori has very much been the typical bad girl, and at some point I'm sure we'll see a much more of a redemptive arc for the character, as what we've seen with so many other characters throughout the show so far. Will they continue to intensify the rivalry between both Sam and Tori, or will we eventually see some sort of coming together and reconciliation, as what we've also seen with Daniel and Johnny? Will we continue to see any new characters introduced within this season? I'm sure that will be revealed when we get the second trailer. And the biggest question of all is what will happen in terms of Kreese. We'll know that he's been arrested, so will he be bailed out at all? Or will he spend time in prison? And again, just like Tori, will we see a much more of a redemptive arc as he realises the error of his ways? Will he team up with Johnny and Daniel and Chao Zhen to take down Silver? Or would he try to do it in a much more underhanded way, where he looks to reunite with Silver in some way, shape or form and try to reclaim Cobra Kai behind his back? So for me, there's so many fascinating elements and stories that I can so look forward to in terms of season 5. The show has done such a fantastic job in introducing and investing us within all of these characters for so many years now, very much putting them in different directions, giving us many reasons to cheer for them, and sometimes giving us reasons to very much doubt their decisions and question their overall motivations. And that's what makes this show so special. Anytime we do get appearances from recent characters from the films, it really feels that these introductions are properly developed. They're not just put in there for fan service or cheap gimmicks. And this was very much typified by the return of Thomas Ian Griffith as Terry Silver, who was absolutely terrific in season 4. We took the time to steadily build how Terry Silver had strived away from his pampered, affluent lifestyle back into the fold as taken over Cobra Kai. And that's what overall makes this show so special. And as I mentioned before, it still remains to me really the best example of how to reboot and remake a franchise. It really is the show that so many other series and films can learn from. And I'm sure that season 5 will continue to go from strength to strength in consolidating the series' position, not only with critics but fans as well. And the only real concern that I've had with the show is something that I've questioned throughout really the last 2 seasons or so, is that will it eventually go on to outstay its welcome? I say that because Cobra Kai has really been one of the fewer shows that's consistently stayed at a high quality throughout all of its 4 previous seasons. Now, as we know, the law of diminishing returns always exists, and eventually a show, no matter how well it starts off, will eventually hit that season or that episode where things take a downturn and the quality drops off. Now, with some shows, you'll have that downturn or decline, and then it will bounce back to its greater heights. But then you'll have other shows that will suffer that drop down in quality and won't be able to get back to where it was. In particularly, we look at Game of Thrones as the biggest example, a show that was celebrated for so many years, but now when we referred back to the series, all people can talk about is how bad that the final 8th season was. And I really don't want that to happen to Cobra Kai. I don't want it to have that scenario where the first 4 seasons were great, but then the 5th season was the one where they outstayed its welcome and then the show suffered a drop in quality. I really don't want that to happen, as I truly believe it's an awesome, great show. And if season 5 isn't to be the last, then I truly believe that season 6 should be the final installment to wrap up what is overall, I believe, the best series on television. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings on Cobra Kai season 5 and whether it can maintain the great form from the previous 4 seasons and confirm its positions as the best television show on air at the moment. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How did you feel on the previous 4 seasons of the show? Which series did you think was the best so far? And if you don't believe that it is one of the best shows on television, let me know in the comments why you believe this to be the case. And as usual, when the show arrives, I will provide reviews of the premiere episode, any standout episodes that we get in between. I'll do a review of the finale and also the season overall as well. So look out for all of that great coverage within the channel as well. If there are any other television shows that you'd like to see me cover, then let me know within the comments, and if I have time, I will provide commentary on those shows. Also, please also hit and like those subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.